Missouri has won 5 out of the last 6 against Oklahoma State, but close games throughout because 5 of those 6 have been decided by a touchdown or less, and 3 of those 6 have played at least one overtime. So get ready to stay up late on Saturday night. Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you on the College Football Previews presented by AT&T, and glad, as always, to be joined by Spencer Tillman from Houston to break it all down, a man you can, of course, see on CBS on Saturday. And, Spence, when you talk about these two teams, you talk about offense. Missouri second in the nation in scoring, Oklahoma State third in the nation in scoring. But can the Cowboys keep up with the Tigers in a game in Columbia?
Well, it's going to be fun watching to see if they can. Zach Robinson, the quarterback at Oklahoma State, has done a fine job. And we talk about the top-tier quarterbacks in the Big 12. His name usually isn't mentioned, but it should be. On the run game has really given him an opportunity to establish the passing attack. They've got a young sophomore running back that really coming in this one helped them lead the nation in rushing coming into last week. So, yeah, there's a lot of offense there for the Oklahoma State Cowboys.
And they're fourth in the nation in rushing heading into this week. And, Spence, when you talk about Missouri, you talk about a team that can strike quickly. 17 times this year they've scored on drives that are less than 2 minutes. They haven't had a 3-and-out once this season. So the best way to play defense is to keep them off the field. And you do that with the run game, right?
That's right, absolutely right. And again, we talked about the run game for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And Kendall Hunter is a sophomore running back, a little bit undersized, and they haven't had a guy like him who can keep that offense on the field. I'm talking about going back to the days, my old days, when Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas were there. This kid is pretty exciting to watch, but I think the advantage that he brings is the potential to achieve balance. And if Oklahoma State can do that, they're going to have a pretty good shot at home at doing a fine job of keeping this Missouri offense off the football field. So it's going to be really fun to watch them play.
Spence, we always talk about the Missouri offense, but let's talk about that defense for a sec because I want to know if this is fact or fiction. They had that game against Illinois where they gave up 42 points. The numbers, are they skewed, or are they really not as good as where they should be?
Well, they're pretty good defensively. And, again, if Gary Pinkel can do anything, he can coach defense, that's for sure. But, again, you have to remember now, this Illini team that you were talking about that they put those numbers up against or put numbers up against them is pretty stout. Juice Williams and that power zone read attack that Ron Zook has there at Illinois is legitimate. So that they scored points and had success early is no surprise to anyone. But, again, I think what you've got to do with this Oklahoma State team, you've got to be aggressive early. You've got to knock them in the mouth. We don't know how physical they are. We know that they can score. Again, there are probably 3 or 4 different teams in the Big 12. I could say just line them up and they'll score all day. But I don't know how they're going to respond once they get punched in the mouth a couple of times. And so when we see that early on in this contest, you're going to see exactly what kind of character Oklahoma State has.
Spence, they're going up against that 114th ranked pass defense. That's Missouri, 114th ranked. You talked about Zach Robinson. He has 10 touchdown passes. 9 of those are to Des Bryant. So you talk about their star running back. We got to talk about their star receiver as well.
Yeah, you do. And again, the thing about this ranking for Missouri, it's one of those great anomalies in football where you have a team that has such a prolific offense. You're thinking, well, don't you have guys in practice that you can match up against to give you a decent enough look to be able to see and recognize that you're going to face a similar spread attack that can do the same things to you? But it doesn't always work out that way. Oklahoma State doesn't just have 1 or 2 or 3 weapons out at the wideout position. They've got 4 guys, a couple of them we don't hear a great deal about, that can help them stretch the field vertically. And, yes, that's going to present a legitimate problem for Missouri. And if they don't keep them under wraps early in this contest, to answer your first question early on, not only will Oklahoma State be able to stay with them in this contest, they can actually push them to the limit and vie for an upset.
Spence, we've gone this entire time so far. It's amazing, and we haven't talked about the number 3 team in the nation in terms of their offensive abilities, except for to say that they can score quickly and they score often. What are you expecting out of Chase Daniel and the Tigers against Oklahoma State's defense?
Business as usual. Again, Oklahoma State's defense is emerging right now. They're playing more aggressively. Last week, they looked actually faster than I've ever seen them so far this year. But what you've got a problem with Missouri is they can, of course, spread you out as the defense will allow them to do. But with Macklin and some of the other weapons that they have at tight end and, of course, their skilled receivers, you can only cover so many people. And if you choose to go nickel or dime on them, they'll come back with the zone read and have some success with one of 3 running backs that they have. So Missouri, it's about picking your poison. Which one do you want to try to shut down, if you will? And you can't shut down any of them because distribution of the field won't allow you to do that. You can only have so many people in so many places, Jason.
Spence, the road team has won the last 3 in the series. Does Oklahoma State make it 4 and win in Missouri?
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I think this Missouri offense is a little bit more potent than Oklahoma State's is, and give all the credit in the world to what Mike Gundy has done there. But I think this Missouri offense is a little bit too strong for them right now.
All right, Spencer Tillman, thank you very much, sir. Talk to you soon.
All right, Jason, we'll see you.
And, folks, don't forget about SEC Live each and every week on CBSSports.com, presented by AT&T. Every game you see on CBS, you'll see on CBS.com streaming live. This week it's a doubleheader, Tennessee and Georgia at 3:30, and then LSU and Florida at the Swamp, one of the biggest games of the weekend. You can see it on CBSSports.com. It's SEC Live, presented by AT&T. For Spencer Tillman, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.